Hey guys, some of you asked me how I did the non-destructive trees scattering with geometry nodes in my previous video, where rotating the river or changing the shape of road makes trees to rescatter according to those changes. So in this video I will go through the setup. But first of all, make sure you're using the latest geometry nodes branch, which you can find here. And just scroll down and pick the correct branch here, geometry nodes. Okay, so let's dive in. We will need a few objects. Of course, 3 or whatever you want to scatter over. A terrain. I'm using just a grid, and river, which is a mesh object, and road or bridge, which is basically a profile which has array modifier assigned as well as curve modifier. So by selecting curve object and moving its control point, I can change the shape of bridge. And last and the most important object we need is the point cloud object. I mean this one. This is the one we will assign the geometry nodes group to, and will hold all the instances of trees. Okay, so let's first do some quick setup for simple scattering. Select terrain, add a vertex group, rename it to test, go into edit mode, assign. Now in the geometry nodes editor, we will create a setup for scattering. So select forest, add the empty. And now add object info, pick terrain, add point distribute, and also set the vertex group we just created called test. Let's switch into terrain and into weight paint mode. And now if I draw to mask out river and then road, switch back to object mode and select forest. So you can see now that trees or points won't get scattered over the river or road object. But this approach stops being handy when you decide to change the shape of road or say reposition the river. In such case, points scattered over terrain won't get updated according to change or changes done to river or a road object. So therefore, let's do it a smart way now. Okay, now let's select terrain, and we can remove the test vertex group, and let's add a new one, call it river, assign weight, and now let's add the weight vertex weight proximity modifier. Let's use river vertex group. Let's pick the river object, change this to geometry and face, and we can see the result better in the weight paint mode. Now let's change this one like so, and now we have our river masked out automatically, no need to painting to mask it out. So once again, where's red color, there will be trees, whereas blue, there won't be any trees. You can also play with the fall off. I mean this rainbow here. You can change the sliders, or you can also go into fall off tab and just change the type, say median step. Okay, let's change it back. And now if I go back to object mode and pick the river, let's say I move it a little bit, rotate it, and back to the weight paint mode, you can see that the change to the vertex group were done accordingly to all the changes I done to the river. A side note here, if you try to paint over terrain while having proximity modifier assigned, you won't see anything you have drawn until you disable or remove proximity modifier. So if I try to paint now, you can't see anything. But let's switch to modifiers and turn it off. Yeah, you can see my change here. So basically, proximity modifier overrides everything you drawn, and only the result of this modifier will be taken into account when scattering the points. So keep this in mind. Okay, so let's undo all of my changes. And next, let's set up the road masking the same way. So first, add new vertex group, call it road, assign weight. Now we can actually duplicate proximity modifier, and let's set road as a vertex group. Let's set road as a target object, and let's switch to paint mode. So as you can see, the mask is already working. Just let me modify the distance a little bit, like so. Yeah, this could be working. Now you can easily switch between different masks, so you can see the result. This is the river mask, and this is the road mask. Now the last thing we need to do is to combine or mix these two groups together. Let's use the vertex weight mix modifier. We can hide these, add mix modifier, and let's set it up. Assign river here, road here, vertex set to all, and mix mode to multiply. And actually, to see the result, we have to switch to a river vertex group. And now you can see the result. But let's check if mixing works fine if these two masks intersect. So if I switch back to object mode, select the river, move it up here, so it intersects road, and then back to weight paint mode. Now you can see that the both masks get properly mixed up together. And now we are ready to start scattering trees where they supposed to be. So let's go to object mode, pick forest or the point cloud object, and let's first change this to a river vertex group, and let's add point instance, find a tree. Let's change the density actually to some lower values, and now add point instance. Okay, so now you can see it's really working. Now if I change the shape of the road, or I move the river, rotate it slightly, the forest changes as well according to changes being done to vertex groups by proximity and mix modifiers. Okay, to wrap it up, I have a little bonus for you. Let's add more natural look to the forest by randomizing size and rotation of each individual tree with the random attribute node. This is actually something new, just recently added, and it wasn't there when I was shooting first forest videos. So let's select forest. Now add the random attribute, connect it, and the first one will be scale. Okay. Now let's play with the values. As you can see, there are really small trees here, so let's have the minimum value of 70% of the original size of the tree, so put 0.7 here, and the maximum, say 110% of the original size, so 1.1. Yeah, so this looks much better. And let's do the same for rotation. But we have to change from float to vector and use rotation keyword. Yeah, and now let's do some quick setup. And 0.1, 0.1. Okay, so we have now trees rotated in all three axes, and that looks much better. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share it. If you would like to get more of these videos, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the bell icon so you get notified about new content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, ciao!